to select the correct container, and we leave this term ambiguously because it could simply be a storage container right up to a purpose-bought terrarium or even a mesh enclosure from a store or online. Assuming it's fit for purpose, then it would be suitable. But there is many factors to consider, so it is correct for what invertebrate is going to be residing within. This guide hopes to explore the process to select the correct container for the creature that lives within it. We do intend on this being more of a discussion topic or an introduction. Specific species setups will be covered separately. The space needs for your invertebrate, or invertebrates if multiple species as part of a bioactive setup, should have a minimum size of enclosure to be comfortable within. For example, a terrestrial tarantula will need a certain depth of substrate to burrow. Similarly, with a millipede species, which would also need a deeper substrate. A tarantula, and this depends if terrestrial or boreal, would need 3 times the span in either length or height, with 2 times the span in width as a rough rule of thumb. Or even a praying mantis, which would need 3 times the length of the mantis, will also need to look at the potential of the creature to grow and the potential to need to rehouse at a later date. By now, we have probably been able to ascertain what size of enclosure we would need for our invertebrate or invertebrates. We now should look at the material needed for the enclosure, i.e. what is appropriate to hold the creature and set up based on their needs. We should also consider at this stage thinking about how escape-proof that container would be for the residing species. For example, a loosely fitting lid or an unsecured door a tarantula could lift off and escape, whereas some species, a tank with a wooden frame, could be eaten by a giant land snail and damage it over time. Or the silicon sealant around an old fish tank may be very suitable for some, but the silicon can provide a means of escape for others. We now have a container of suitable material, with ideally no means of escape for the residents. We should consider the ventilation needs, and with that humidity. Ventilation is not the only factor with humidity, but certainly the more ventilation would mean the less humidity and potential drying out quicker. There are many methods to create ventilation. Simply drilling using drill bits made for plastic at the correct torque, maybe with even a bit of a tape backer to prevent the cracking, using materials such as a ganza, which a thin weave fabric would prevent the ingress of fruit flies, but a tarantula may pick those apart in time. Other meshes and vents are of course available. Again, this all depends on the species you are housing. Purpose-bought terrariums may have lids which are vented. Ensure that this is also suitable for the smaller invertebrates not to escape through. Again, meshes on tops in some bought enclosures may provide an issue for some tarantulas who may get their foot claw caught, thus larger holes within plastic may be better for them. In summary, the selection of the correct enclosure, both in size and material, are very important to the well-being of the species you're intending to house within. Ventilation is always considered alongside the 2 factors above. As for the majority of the times, the container has to be modified in some way, or at least has to allow for modification, to allow the correct ventilation for the species. There are many purpose-made containers available both in pet shops and online, but it is just as easy to buy a large plastic storage container relatively cheaply and fashion it for your needs. Thank you for watching. If you have found this video useful, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. This will give you updates on new releases of a similar nature. This is very helpful to us. We do appreciate it. Check out our social media links found within the description of this video. We also love discussion, especially if you have another point of view. Please add your comments, it helps us improve our content. We do have plans to make many more videos in the future, however, these might have content updates as our work progresses. Our videos might be updated and re-uploaded at any point as our research progresses. Thank you once again.